Mm-hmm. Right. I think I've got everything I need in front of me. Like, I
Yep.
always think that, though, and inevitably there's something missing.
Oh yes.
But, I'm just gonna try and fly with that, and we'll see how we go.
Well, clearly I have the most important thing covered.
Oh,
Knitting.
Barnes, look, there's a
Oh,
cat.
I see.
There's a tiny pair of eyes staring up.
Barnes.
Mm.
My dog's on the couch and he's not coming.
Well, someone's got the right priorities anyway. All right. Should we get things kicked off then?
Yeah, let's go.
If you all are ready, then so am I. If the thingy is
Mhm.
running, I can begin.
Yes, go.
But I needn't throw my hand up so high because it just disappears off the top of the screen. Yay, the joys of talking with one's hands. Here we are, once again, another Liberation Industries / Women in Metaphor session of Ruralpunk. I think this is session number 4, possibly.
5, I
Sounds
think.
about right. 5. Oh, wow, we are just kicking goals here. Crazy. Zipping on into the fields of amazing Australiana, rural, magic, cyberpunk. Wow, that's a lot of descriptors that I just had to say, but for anyone who is not following along with this yet, go back to episode 1 if it's up and available, because geez. If not, hello. I'm Paddy, and I am our MC / best supporting actor attempt. So yeah, if we would do the usual people name, character name, descriptor, I'd say I'm playing the town of McGulby. So Beppe, if you could do your intro, I'll throw that over to you.
Hi, I'm Beppe. I'm playing Madeline, who is a lovely, small, petrol head car mechanic with magical tool fingers, and is far better with machines than she is with people.
Mm-hmm.
I am Lee. I am playing Acheron, the human mess. The human mess with a very nice hood and a little shoulder squirrel that speaks entirely in pop culture quotes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's been learning to do other things
It
lately.
has, yes. We've
Like,
it has responded in its own words for the first time.
Yep.
A couple of sessions ago, and
like it's written a couple of ominous songs for your situations.
yes.
Oh, the joys, the wonders of the shoulder squirrel and the terrors to which it connects you. Joy of joys. It was a lot more accusatory last session, as the Unslaughtered was using it to communicate with you. It's not communicating so much right now as, well, you all are rumbling on the back of the... Oh no, you had a buggy and a troop carrier, didn't you? You'd taken the bus from the campsite. Oh boy, so you all are rumbling back into town in the fucking mystery machine. How the hell did you get around Sergeant Small? Like where did you go to hide?
How far are the other cult? Was it Agnes? Agatha?
Oh, yeah.
Agatha.
We remember NPCs. These are important
Abby
people
Omega,
to our,
yeah.
Yeah.
These are important people to our characters' internal lives and existences. If they're a bit out of town,
What
maybe we just go straight to them first and we don't even bother going into town with the kids.
But the kids.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you could certainly try that. I kind of love it. Yeah. Go on, Beppe.
I was going to say, I'm not too keen on bringing the cyber sheep into the town.
Yes, I think... Although, to be fair, we did promise the cyber sheep that it would stay with the kids. So, we kind of have to figure out... But we also did promise to bring it to Abby, so... Let's let Abby negotiate with the cyber sheep. Abby has people skills.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Not metagaming.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like that's a perfectly reasonable in-character thing for Acheron to have thought. That's a string of words Acheron would have thought in character.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, look, I feel like the night is falling in earnest as you sort of take the long way around town, sort of dragging this bus over these wildly insufficient fire trails, just to get it all the way around town without having to stop, having to go past anywhere he would have possibly set up a drone block. It's like, you'll never know. So yeah, on that note, because we did leave. So it's like as you sort of settle in for the night drive, because I think you got Toby to drive the bus from memory, which is because I don't think Acheron can drive, which is a bit of an image in itself. As I imagine he's got his little music player. It's been a day. It's been. You let him drink anyway. How out of sorts could Toby Small possibly be? I can guess where his dad was hidden. We don't know. So yeah, you do that sort of long circling around town, and with that, we sort of get a bit of an opportunity to reflect and think about what we did. There was some stuff I had to fill in from the tail end of last session. So you go to the corner and you think about what you've done as you are approaching the ominous, quiet warehouses where where Abby's cult hang out. So tension. I'm just gonna pull up the thing. So I feel like we are. In honesty, it was as missions where you get attacked by a giant, magnetically puppeteered Iron Bull and hallucinate a lot go. That was pretty contained. Like you didn't actually. The most faction level screwery you're doing is you are bringing a probable agent of the Billions right into the heart of town, and like the agency's going to hate that, and I feel like the Billions probably aren't that cool with it either. What can you do?
What are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
I feel like we did our best.
Someone
It wasn't very good, but we did it.
Someone asked for a lift, and you gave it to them. It doesn't matter that they're a psychic cyber cow.
Also, can I just point out that giant magnetically controlled Iron Bull is one hell of a dragon, AJU.
Yeah. I can see that working.
It's also one of the punk bands from another neighboring town.
Yeah. It's like, if it wasn't before, it sure is now. Sweet. So I'll let it qualify. Have either of you currently sitting with a defiance of 2 or higher?
I'm at 4.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Wait, is it?
Sorry. Not like
quadrant.
4 around. It's as in like there are 2 sections in each quadrant, and I filled in 4.
Okay,
so
you've got 4 blobs. Okay, 2 total.
Blobs,
You're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, like whole segments, because each segment has 2 little blobs in it.
Yeah. That's what I meant. 2 whole quadrants, 4 half quadrants.
Good. Yes. So that's all right. So I will fill in 2 tension on the sheet. Would you like me to share the sheet screen as I do this in the traditional manner?
Sure, I will need to.
Okay. How hard can it be? What could possibly go wrong as we embrace the wonders of modern technology?
You'd think we'd be getting practiced at this by now.
Is it Paint 3D or is it like old school Paint?
Yeah. This is the good shit. Cool. So I'm just gonna advance that tension a bit. Because I live big, I live my dreams. Ooh, friendly little blobs down there. So that's starting to look a little hairy. As I imagine that as you drive past, like any sort of ferrous metal begins to bend, and occasionally we see like power lines or generators kind of crackle and short, and a bit of chaos starts to go on around the town.
Yay!
We did, however, yay! Just the bus cruising down like one of the sort of outlying suburban streets, and like someone's shed just falls down. Sort of, farmer in pajamas. It's like, oh, that sounds like an Australian television children's show.
Is he coming down the stairs?
He's coming down the stairs. The farmers in pajamas. Oh no! Sort of stick their heads out the window to see that their shed is somehow dragging itself down the driveway. So yeah, mad enough. Cool.
Oh god, was Sergeant Small already on 3 grudges before this?
Not when you started the quest.
Oh, okay, that's okay then. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, you're all right. I did adjust those in advance, so he's not going to get any more upset at you. But he is probably scouring the town for ways to make your life difficult right now.
We might not get shot.
Yeah. Now I don't know if you remember, Beppe. I cannot remember if we did our sellout meter at the end of last session. I think we didn't. That's the one where I ask you questions about whether you were good anarchists.
Mm.
I don't recall that we did that, but
Yeah, often I'll tack it onto the end of XP as the thing. Oh no, I think I did. I think I did do it.
Yeah,
I remember.
it sounds right.
Whack it back down to 0.
right, yeah.
By,
Okay.
by a couple of sessions back, and then it jumped back up again. Cool, yeah. Because I was thinking, it's like, oh, this one was a bit tense, like you had some stuff going on there. I'm gonna lower that stream now then, because
Internets. Australian internets.
Yeah, we're gonna let that ride as well as we need to. Cool. So tension's getting pretty high. You're at like 6 out of 9 there. Remember, at 9 the town goes into lockdown and things. Oh, what do you know? It's like the town goes into lockdown, and well, we all know all about that, don't we?
Oh,
And then our characters have their live stream playing.
Playing Ruralpunk.
Yep. Hey everyone, we're here to play our weekly playing game. That's meta. Such meta. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, in fact, it's probably not a bad time now. Usually Lee gets to roll these, but things are getting hot. So Pepe, would you like to take the 2 Defiance dice and roll them on the entanglements chart and see what we come up with?
All right. Roll.
As you're listening to sort of whatever AM radio signal you can get in the bus.
ABC Classic.
Pardon?
ABC Classic Radio.
Oof.
Ah, yes.
All right. So we have a 2 and a 6.
Well, we are sufficiently defiant that we are picking the higher one at this stage. So that's okay. Roll again on the next column.
All right.
Would you mind throwing that again?
Both of them, or just one of them?
Yeah, just roll the 2 dice again. Yeah.
Oh Christ.
I don't like the sound of this.
5 and 2.
5 and 2. Okay. Ooh. All right.
Wait. So is it? Okay. So we don't take that first 2 for what's the buzz. It'll be like Our Town and Dark Side. Is that the?
Well, because you're sitting on 6 tension, we're rolling on the middle table.
Oh, it's gone to this. So we've rolled on the
it's
worst.
gone to the 3rd. The phrase warning shot.
Oh.
That was across my
Okay, I think that's going to be literal with Sergeant Small, isn't it?
Oof.
Quite possibly. Oh, I'm feeling more, and yeah, it's definitely a This is definitely a highly factional thing rather than a community one, though. Oh. Hmm. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I can absolutely see the agency lashing out if stuff starts getting hairy. So, hmm. All right. So we're gonna stay in that zoomed out stage for a little bit. And like we sort of get the drone up shot as ominous in this setting. The drone up shot as like you park the two vehicles outside the warehouse and start hustling everybody inside into the weird fairy lights that the cult seems to maintain most of the time. And yeah, so we cut to you sort of like the sort of what do you call it? The demountable building, kind of a portable office look with coffee rings on all of the papers, and like a wildly overfull ashtray next to the window because if you can open the window far enough, it's outdoors, right? Uh, yeah. Okay. So who's our agency character? The question is, someone in this faction believes tomorrow will be different for them, even though it never is. What inspires their hope?
Oh. Oh. Okay. Let me pitch a character here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's what it's there for.
I'm thinking this is a sort of not necessarily exactly middle management, but like someone who's just above rookie but not quite at senior kind of level. Between about 35 and 40, been in the agency. Hello, you're doing your head bob. Where are you jumping to? Been in the agency for a little while now. Got in because they were picked by one of the real senior managers. It was kind of a favor for a friend. It was kind of a, like, slightly emergency. Someone turned out to really be bad at their job, so fuck it, we just need someone quickly, who do you know, kind of thing.
Yep. We need someone with the right clearance who can do this desk job for a while.
Yeah. Good enough that they stayed on, good enough that they got a couple of promotions early, but have sort of been forgotten about, but haven't yet realised...
deployed to McGulby.
Yeah, but haven't yet realised, because isn't really being strung along, but just hasn't quite realised that the nepotism isn't going to carry them all the way. So it's like, they were deployed to McGulby, and the story was kind of like, we're really sorry about this, we're going to try and get you back as soon as we can, yada, yada, yada. And it's been a while, but this person is just endlessly hopeful that, my uncle knows them as a drinking buddy. They wouldn't leave me here forever. I know I'm a good worker. They're not. Like, I know I'm one of the best here. You're in McGulby. So it's like just a combination of like very slight Dunning-Kruger effect and no, it's okay, I've got connections. Everything's going to be fine if I just do a good job and wait for one more month. Just one more month.
Cool. All right, let's give him a name and a look. Who are we talking about?
This is
who's looking over the rim of that coffee cup out at the sweep of McGulby.
It is bifocal glasses with but they're like no frame bifocal glasses with like just shortcut balding, but like no hair on top, but it's still left the hair around the sides.
Yep.
The monk look. Yep.
I'm seeing a Blake. I'm seeing a Blake.
All right, Agent Blake. It's like, yeah. So Blake just sort of sips his coffee and glowers out over the lights of McGulby. You know, like we sort of get the continuity shot, I guess, of all of you sort of piling out of the buses in the middle distance, and he's like, fucking kids, right? puts, puts the puts the coffee cup down, and oh my, oh geez, there's a few people who are gunning for the agency at the moment. Um, oh, okay. We can do this two ways, and I'm going to absolutely throw it back to you. Just to sort of, you know, like I'm sharing your brain space to help me decide, help me remember what our levels are, what genre we're in. We can do this the gangland way, or we can do this the fucking hilarious, stupid, small town way.
Oh, I think we gotta go for hilarious and stupid.
F, are you with us?
Oh, I'm there all the way.
All right. So yeah, like we see Agent Blake sort of raises cigarette. So, you know, he tries to light it. Like the lighter won't click, but he's like he sniffs and he smells smoke. And then like the back wall of the mountable sort of bursts into flame behind him. He runs for the door, you know, like throws himself out, throws himself out right through it, tumbles to the ground as the whole thing goes up in flames.
Pulls out a cigarette, looks
just
at it, throws it on the ground.
Voice, joined by others and others and others. Yep, just caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw. As this horde of people wearing seagull masks, brandishing heavy, like, you know, blunt objects, sort of like have his building surrounded. And then he goes for his sidearm, struggles to get it out of the holster, and one of them just sort of whacks him with a 2x4. Cuts to black. So yeah, the Gulls have jumped the gun a little as part of their alliance with Cash and Carry, and have burned down Agent Blake's office. So yeah, your current situation is like he has put out a bit of what's the word? A bit of a calling all units thing, and you probably would have got this as sort of messages from Sergeant Small. On a meta level, we need some act of vengeance against the Gulls before you can spend your contact points again. Okay. Or do contact rolls. At a not so meta level, Sergeant Small has probably sent out all shit kickers on deck. It's out in the open. I need you.
Oh dear.
Yeah, because it is open slaver now. It would seem as. Well, yeah. Look, we're feeling the simmering tension. It's not quite someone did a drive-by, but it's about as close as you could get. Agent Blake is hospitalized, but not dead. You gotta whack him.
Good. I didn't create Agent Blake only to have him leave the game this soon.
It's like killed immediately.
You promised me we weren't playing Traveler.
I saw a funny thing. Like there was a big jam for like Troika characters, and one of them is you know, one of the character options was your Traveler character who died before they could play. They've been reborn in this other world. It's like survivability less than 0. Like, okay, that's what happens.
Oh, that's
yes,
amazing. All right.
So yeah, like as the sort of like evening goes on, and you've sort of had to hustle the kids to different homes so they can check in. You start getting this sort of fucking, like storm of texts, first from Sergeant Small and probably a little from Pastor Crane as well, in that it's just like things are getting heavy, like serious shit. As the agency teams are conspicuously out in vests, and a couple of them. You spot one next to their trademark black vans. Like eating a donut with a submachine gun on their hip. So it's like,
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I'm guessing that our characters, though we may not be sort of directly involved or anything, know about the simmering tension between the Gulls and the agency, or that the Gulls are working for Cash and Carry, or
it's a bit of an open secret there, in that that Cash and Carry have been in a bit of a shadow war with the agency for a while, because basically more oversight is exactly what Cash and Carry doesn't want.
Yeah.
And you don't know exactly when they recruited the Gulls, but they did. There's a follow-on from the usual quite measured planning. It's like, it seems like an odd choice.
Yeah.
Are they are the Gulls in this case, are they the actual football team, or are they like drop kicks,
they the fans?
fashioning themselves after the football team?
It's a bit of both. In that, after the sort of state funding got cut, I think like the Gulls kind of turned to organized crime. So there is like the team and the old timers at the heart of this. It sort of spreads as their kind of hooligan squad. So and it is a bit of a permeable barrier as to whether a Gulls fan is just someone who likes football, or whether they are part of that hooligan squad. So yeah, they've they kind of, their community fundraisers have on occasion taken a bit of the feeling of like a Yakuza shakedown in the last sort of decade.
And how, in character question, do we know whether Dearest Heart Chippy is involved?
You do not yet know.
I was about
That's
to
probably
say,
something.
Does one of us text Chippy?
Well, yeah, it's like given your contact roles are out of action right now, Chippy is conspicuously his little red message symbol hasn't been popping up. Oh.
All right.
Might have to look for him the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I think. Well, after the last one, a couple of sessions ago, Acheron owes Chippy one. So I think Acheron's probably going to go and try and find Chippy.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's like you've gotten back into town in the dead of night. So what's the plan? It's like, and the other side of this is you're fucking tired and badly injured, both of you.
Yeah.
I think probably start with text Chippy. Getting a lot of messages, everything okay, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like, as I said, he doesn't get back to you, and you just keep getting the incoming storm from Sergeant Small. What's the go?
Go to bed, right?
Yeah. It's like, hopefully the gang war will have blown over in the morning.
Like, can this wait till the morning, Sergeant? Because, we haven't slept in like a day.
We were off on our other bullshit quest for you, totally.
Yeah. Maybe we text him, we've gotten the kids back to town.
Yeah, kids back safe. Gonna see all the kids home safe. I don't know, are we deceptive enough to come up with we're just gonna see the kids are home safe, that's our job, you don't worry about us. Are we deceptive enough?
Are we socially adept enough to fucking
come up
lie
with a
over
plausible
text?
lie.
I mean,
All evidence to the contrary, really.
for any other two people, it would have been that, you know, would have been a given. But we don't have the best track record with it.
The two of you sort
Winky
of looking
face.
over, looking over Madeline's like phone, thinking, "Shit, what do we tell him? It's like, what will he believe?"
Then you accidentally send a winky face instead of a smiley face, so he knows.
God. Let's see.
It's like, we
I
brought home the kids and did the job for you.
I did actually put a point into Connect, so I'm going to say that Acheron may scramble together enough of a lie to say, let us look after the kids.
Yeah, it's like
we're going to get them all home.
Like taking kids home ATM, check in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you sort of like rattle that out, you just, without the sound of, like I think you're still outside the warehouses at the moment, without the like sound of any movement whatsoever, you just get "Oh, you're popular tonight," and spin around and crash cut to Abby standing beside you, sort of holding hands with the unslaughtered. It's sort of hunched over beside her in the like the midnight gloom. It says like, "We don't have a fridge. She needs to be somewhere cold."
Acheron's
Any thoughts?
Acheron has already established to not like Abby very much, so Acheron's gonna do the sort of...
Does Acheron even have electricity in their squat?
No, they do not. Acheron has no electricity.
I love that you have no electricity in the cyberpunk future. That is amazing. Sure. Madeline will take the unslaughtered back.
The other side of this too is like Acheron's family's been here for. Sorry, no. Go on.
Alright, well, I guess Madeline will try and take the unslaughtered back and rig up some kind of, like, fridge room.
Okay. Good.
I mean, like, it's kind of a bit rude to be like, come with us, we'll take care of you, and then just let it die. I don't think that's...
Yeah, no,
that's not really...
Eh.
Okay.
Yep.
Madeline goes, "Okay, Ron, you need to, you're coming with me, I'm gonna need you to hold something while I make a fridge room. Hold this girder."
He's just like an Abby, like still fucking barefoot in the very like diaphanous gown that she wears. Just sort of, like gently squeezes the unslaughter's question mark shoulder. Like smiles down, smiles at you, and then like swans back into the darkness of the warehouses, and it like. The unslaughtered makes this sort of vaguely affirmative sound and hobbles into the back of the buggy. And just sort of leans its chin on your shoulder as you start trying to get the buggy started.
Oh. Okay, so the aim might be portable fridge. Like the try and rig up like a shipping container fridge.
Oh yeah.
And then so we can take it back. Because I don't want to give Sergeant Small any more reason to shoot me.
Now I'm seeing, just in terms of the resources you tend to have at hand, is shipping container fridge like an actual shipping container, or is it a camper van you've lined with tinfoil?
I'm not sure. No, it
What do you have in your scrap heap that's going to win this?
Actual shipping containers tempting. I mean, like, I had enough stuff to build, like, a walk-in, like, animatronic diorama.
Convert the walking animatronic diorama.
Yes!
Please
Into
convert.
a fridge!
Yeah. It's got a pod up the top. You can sort of shorten the legs so it's easy to get into.
Although,
Did you get
has
that
it...
back or was it confiscated?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, has it been impounded?
That,
Has
that
it
might
impounded
that might be
this
considered
entire
evidence of
rump?
your crimes.
Okay, alright,
It's like, no, yes, look, Judge, I fully admit, yes, I did shoot the young woman, but you should see what we have impounded. You will completely understand my actions.
The judge...
I'm
Really
also
annoying.
with the camper van idea. I'm sort of seeing the mystery machine, given it was mentioned earlier, and that's an
You take
interest.
their bus.
But like, that's an interesting twist on Scooby Doo, as taking the mystery machine as a tinfoil lined fridge for a cyber cow. Anyway, I'll stop writing the fanfic in my head and we'll get back to brainstorming.
Yeah, let's go with
What about an old ice cream truck or something in the tip?
Yeah. I mean,
You have to
Yeah.
rip out all of the chest freezers and everything, but it's probably already a bit insulated and
yeah, there are insulated vans. Yeah, so I'm going to make a fridge trailer.
Oh,
Maybe it's going to be like the bed of like the flap bed of some like ute. With then just like industrial fridges that I've passed through a bandsaw and like put back together again.
what's powering it? No skills. Yeah.
Yeah, technomancy.
Yeah.
a couple of car batteries would be my guess.
That's a good guess. Let's go with that.
Oh yes. we get the little montage of, and it's, oh geez, you're like so tired at this point of like the three of you working together to build a big fridge on the back of a ute. Dead of night, quiet as can be.
Is the unslaughtered helping?
If it can help if there's ferrous metal involved. I mean,
Yes! I don't have to like deconstruct the free. It can like bend the.
I just hear like, we see the three of you like middle distance stagger into the garage dead of night, and just like one light switch on. Sigh, mutter, 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 and then the bandsaw kick up. You can hear it a mile off.
I'm seeing one of those montages at one point. You get Acheron struggling to like drag a chest fridge past, and you see the unslaughtered just go.
Yep. So yes, by morning, I think. Actually, yeah, like, would you throw a fabricate for us, Pepe? I want to see how well this goes.
Oh, okay. For memory, I have 2 in that.
Yep.
Yes.
That's one of the good ones.
That's something I can do.
Yeah. This is just a little fortune roll, so it's not gonna cause too much pain. It's more a matter of I want to see whether you've got everything you need to hand.
It's 2 4s.
Cool. Yeah, look. By morning, you've sort of constructed it, and you've got the rig all set up. I feel like, the trouble at the moment is it's not yet mobile. Because of the power you have to have it hooked up to, like it's, so the unslaughtered sort of settles in, looks kind of forlornly at the two of you. It's like, do I just wait here? As the sun sort of crests up and it kind of shrinks away from the light a little. It's like, I'm trying to think what it's like, the squirrel just sort of hums. It's like, all alone, gonna leave me here. Like, sort of, would be like,
I have dogs.
It's kind of crooning. You do have dogs, yeah.
I get in the freezer with the unslaughtered, show the unslaughtered the, like, escape button.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go, I've rigged up, like, a some kind of like rope handle so it can pull it shut.
Mm.
And then I introduce the unslaughtered to the dogs, so it's not so alone.
I can see it sort of peering over the end of the tray as they're sort of running around and around, and it's a sort of suspicious kind of look, and then it nods at you and crawls back into the fridge. You sleep, as you two probably should as well.
No, but, friends. I'm seeing in like a few days, once the unslaughtered's gotten used to things a little bit, like sitting in the fridge with a little remote control button that launches that ball thrower for the dogs.
The Rube Goldberg machine.
Just watching like the machine go and the dogs run back and forth, and then just pressing the button again.
Oh.
How is it both so wholesome and so sad?
It's probably right that this kind of genre is very melancholy, really. I mean, between the noir roots and just the fact that Australian cyberpunk is really not changing, like you just like it's what we're living. Anyway, except the town's not on lockdown yet.
Yet.
Yay! But yeah, cool. So I guess the two of you just crash at Madeline's place.
Yeah.
Given you've like probably been up like 30 something hours now.
Oh,
so,
right. Yep.
And operating heavy tools in the last bit of that.
Acheron wakes up in a pile of dogs.
At home.
Acheron wakes up in a pile of dogs. Not quite sure how they got there, but dog pile.
As in, like, they've piled on top of you on the couch, or you're in the doghouse somehow?
No, I'm seeing that
Acheron's is the house.
Yeah, the doghouse is an actual house. I'm just seeing that Acheron's gone to sleep somewhere, and at some point during the night, about 6 dogs have come by. You sort of get this sort of...
even Madeline.
You get this sort of like, wake up, huh? Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, there were 2, but they were a breeding pair. Now there are many.
Yep, whole big old family there. All right, well, look, you all can start looking at your downtime actions, as you still have 2 each of those. Abby would have given you probably 2 favors each, as well, look, Sergeant Small would have paid you better, but, you know, to get drug dealer money, you got to do drug dealer actions.
Mm-hmm.
Said the police officer.
That's fine. I'm good with 2.
Yeah, but yes.
We can't call any in, though, until...
You can't do any contact. Anything that would require a contact roll. So most of your downtimes are fine. It's just, to reactivate that, you all need to think of some way to extract vengeance on the Gulls on behalf of the agency via Sergeant.
Okay.
Which would probably, probably involve some sort of shock and awe symbolic takedown in his mind that, I'll leave that in your court. I'll leave the planning to y'all. It's like, remember that giant gull statue that they all really like? Destroy it.
I'm imagining having a clandestine meeting with like this government secret service, and they're like, fucking. He's got the big cigar, and he's like in shadows. And you've only got the cigar burning. He's like,
the gull's gotta go.
Destroy the statue. So then it cuts to the statue, and it's some like half-assed like made out of like pillows. And,
it's painted in primary colours.
It's already half
morale. Oh no!
It's like inspiration taken from an attempted murder of Fidel Castro.
On a slightly more sensible note, though I hate to interrupt this, and we could totally go with this. I'm wondering if there's also something like can leak the what companies give the gulls their gear, and stop this, or the football team doesn't get new boots next year and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
because that they can't
like
can't hit them in the
sell,
money,
which is
because
probably it's like, hit it in the money. I mean, like that's one thing I feel like.
yeah,
It's like if you can like cause havoc in their criminal connections as well, that'd probably cost them more.
Let the word
Yeah.
get out that they're being indiscreet, and that sort of thing. Which
all right,
a destroyed pillow and paint gull statue with latest such and such riot causes destruction of local statue, local football team to blame, rumored connections with such and such. That'd be a pretty good way to get to hit them in the connections.
Yes. So, yeah, like that is on the table. I do kind of love you're looking very uncomfortable in an office with
This guy just fucking like...
it's like, are you sure that's the best idea? Well, of course I'm sure. I wouldn't ask you to do it if I wasn't.
It's like passed over like the tan manila folder with the paperclip pictures of the statue on the inside and the redacted instructions.
I don't know if anyone has seen it. I know for a fact Patty has. But the weird penguin jackal statue out the back of the ANU in Canberra, I'm seeing that, but covered in pillows.
Like no one knows. No one knows what the pillows are meant to be. Like apparently they were meant. Maybe they were sculpted on as kind of goon bags of courage. But yeah, like it is a really squishy gull. Commemorate some championship that they won like 40 years ago. But yeah.
Hold up, I don't know if you've seen it, Beppe. I need to find
I don't think I have.
Well, in the sleep.
While you're doing that,
in the sleep-deprived haze of your minds, with absolute stoner movie version of McGulby. But it's a weird place. It can happen. But yeah, so they've given you these, like, not cryptic, but deeply strange missives as to what you're supposed to achieve. You are absolutely within your rights to sort of do or not do this, but at some point you're going to have to find a way to put the gulls in their place. Otherwise, feel free to explore your downtime actions as you go. Where would we like to go next?
Oh my. I've still got the dossier scene in my head.
Whether you want that to be real or a dream, I don't know, but I'll leave that to you all.
I'm imagining that we're woken up by like an unmarked van driving up to the house, like pulling us in, driving us off somewhere, putting us in this dark room with this cigar smoking guy, taking us out back in the van and dropping us back again.
Yep.
And then again, we don't know if it actually happened, but it was weird that we both had the same dream.
I've just popped a couple of statue photos in the chat, so it shows up on the stream for anyone who's interested as well and is not familiar with the Canberra wildlife.
Yeah, joys of Canberra architecture. But yeah,
fantastic.
I kind of love that as an image of it, like you just find yourself like you find yourself sitting out on the porch now, like drinking tea, and it's like. I mean, given the amount of psychic interference that tends to follow Acheron around, it's like, maybe we shouldn't hang around with Abby. Maybe that's the problem. We just see a tumbleweed, like, clearly has a face painted on it, kind of roll past.
Oh, God.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, so also I would like to point out to everybody that I found those statue pictures by Googling ANU weird statue. It was not the
There's a
first
few.
result.
Yeah, there's a few on there. Joys of regional Australia, everybody. You can find some jank shit.
The great thing about our country is that the capital city seems to count as regional.
It's true.
I mean,
Yeah. Doesn't happen that often. I mean, yeah.
Mm.
Like, maybe it's maybe it's one of those. There are a few places where like you sort of get, oh, the capital's that rather than one of the sensible cities. I think the Canadians have a similar thing.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know how often that happens. It's like. Because it would have to be that. It would have to be, it's like, okay, country where the capital is not the main metropolis. And there's not that many of them.
But then it's usually another large city.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, for it to have not existed before it was made the capital is quite special.
Yeah, that's true. And perhaps, what's the word? A microcosm of this country generally.
It doesn't help with the perception that the political class is out of touch, though, when they live somewhere built especially for them.
All right, fans, write in. What do you think has happened to Canberra, given that our like canon version of Sydney is largely underwater?
yeah.
It's like, what happened to Canberra in the Australian cyberpunk future?
We look forward to your fanfic.
Yes, always very exciting to hear from the listeners. But look, on that note, we're about an hour in. Would we like to take a little breather while you ponder what you might want to do with your downtime and your potentially hilarious vengeance quests?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, I will go grab a drink, refresh, and yeah, I'll catch you back here in 5.
No worries.
Sounds good.
And welcome back! Woo! More Ruralpunk episode 5, part 2. Stoner movie, stoner movie diversion.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I dropped out.
No,
I
you're
sure
fine.
hope not.
You're still here. We still have Patty for the moment.
Oh.
Yay!
Good. Yeah, sorry. I just like your froze up for a second there, and it's like
Yeah, your
no,
video froze.
that happened simultaneously. Yeah.
Your video froze, but your sound kept coming through. The oh no from my end was the cat attempting to make off with my ball of yarn. So
also important. Yeah. All right. So you've been given a task, and I mean, you don't have to achieve this immediately, but you need some sort of dramatic, vengeance against the gulls. So keep that going in your head. Oh, the other thing, Lee, is we filled your stress last session too. So you need to start thinking about what belief that has founded in you.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have one of those now.
Yes. I got so stressed that I found something to believe in.
Yeah, the beliefs aren't always positive, admittedly, but given you clocked yourself out, essentially, what were you doing? You thought you were rescuing kids from a cult, but in fact you were delivering them to a cult.
No, we were delivering
the other.
A safer cult.
Yeah, a better cult.
A cult we know.
Hello, you.
They got
Are you going to lift your head high enough that the camera can see?
You
get an ear.
Yes, we'll need to square that away by end of session, I think. Yeah. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm sure that your characters have to-do lists. Tension's getting high. Acheron at least doesn't need to worry about stress so much, but they've got some long-term projects on the boil as well. Who wants to jump in first? Or plan vengeance, also good.
Well, the interesting thing with planning vengeance is that I was planning to get rid of one of my conditions and make Chippy not mad at me, which is not going to be very effective with this vengeance scheme, is it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
He does love the statue. Tricky.
All right.
When we can't really get
he might be mad, but he'd probably forgive you eventually.
We can't really get Chippy on board, can we? Find out.
Of course not.
Oh, but he mightn't be happy. He might think of a way. He might be keen for a way for them to sever the relationship in some way with Cash and Carry. But if we can't do contact rolls, is there not really a way to?
No, you can absolutely dig him up. It's just it'd be a little trickier to find him than usual is the thing. Because he's kind of gone to ground given the apparent open gang war with the government agency.
Yeah, and the thing is
being their most obvious target.
The thing is with Chippy though, he's sure, he's a good bloke, but also he's loyal to the team. So if we try and get him to go against Cash and Carry, it's going to have to be with a replacement.
Look, another element, another way to execute this vengeance might in fact be figuring out who actually did the whacking and offer them up as sort of appeasement, I guess. As a thought.
Yeah.
I like having information, so I'm going to try and find Chippy.
Excellent.
Alright.
Well, let's make it interesting.
I don't like it when you say that. That's a lie. I love it when you say that.
Pick a skill, Beppe. Something along the lines of scan or what have you would probably do it, but I just want to see how well you go.
Can I analyze?
Analyze is usually close work. Admittedly,
Okay.
you could probably get, if you could get hold of Chippy's computer, you could analyze.
Break into Chippy's house. All right.
I think this is a great way to learn more about Chippy.
I am going to try to fabricate something to like trace his like IP or his MAC address.
Sure, we're just gonna dox Chippy then.
To find out like, because I'm going to assume
I
that
think
I
doxing
call
is analyze. Yeah.
I try to call him, and I'm assuming there's no answer. I go past where he lives and a few other key places, and I can't find him. I'm assuming is like he's gone to ground. So yeah, I'm gonna trace his phone.
Excellent. Throw it. Let's see how you go.
Can I swing a fabricate for coming up with a device to do it, or do you want analyze?
Analyze feels better to me. It's
Cool.
as funny as I find you walking around with like a little Chippy Geiger counter. I think analyze is what you're actually doing.
Okay.
It measures
I like-
the psychic energy emanating from the Chippy costume.
Yeet!
Huh?
Yeetage. How often do we get one of those?
1 in 6 at least.
Yep.
Yep.
For us,
that's a
for us,
6.
it feels far less often.
It does, doesn't it? It does.
Mm.
Hey, Floof.
All right. Where would it? Yeah, you do a little triangulation, and yeah, after a bit of sort of scanning around, and like you sort of do the old draw lines on the cell tower map, and it's like okay, distance. It looks like he's hanging out at Pastor Crane's house, which is an odd choice, but there you go.
All right. I go to drive over. Swing past Ron and ask if they want to join.
Yeah, Ron will come with.
Cool. Also gives us a good reason to be swinging by Pastor Crane's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Did we need to do that for any particular reason, or was that just...
Well, the pastor likes you.
True.
So you can be paying a
You had some
visit.
clothes of his, I think. Oh no, you gave them back to
No,
you
Mads,
gave them back
Mads
to Mr.
returned
White.
them for me. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we're gonna swing by.
Awesome.
Yeah, Crane's house.
Well, yeah, you sort of pull up. It's. I feel like, in honesty, it's a little sort of weatherboard sort of cottage style house on a fairly small block, sort of subdivided off one of the bigger properties.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you pull into the driveway and see the fella. You know, there's like the pastor himself in like a singlet, just working his boxing bag. Seems to be raising quite a sweat. Like he must have gotten up early. Is the point?
Because of course he did.
Yeah. Yeah, he sort of glances at the interloper vehicle coming in and seems to like not tense, but he like his eyes snap onto you immediately, and he sort of picks up the towel and sort of starts drying his head and shoulders down a bit. It's like morning team. What do we have the pleasure?
Pastor? We're looking for Chippy.
It's like there's a moment where he like, it's like because he's a terrible liar. He's like something in his jaw just sort of sets, and it's like, does Michael want to see you?
Acheron is going to sort of pull the hood down a little bit. Hold up. I'll finish me stitch and I'll...
We
Method
can imagine
acting.
it, Lee. It's okay.
Yeah. Sort of pull the hood down a little bit and do the... Trying to get the girls out of trouble.
And, like, he sort of, like, bites and pulls on one of the wraps and starts undoing it. And it's like, well, it sounds to me that they're in quite a bit of trouble already. What makes you think you can get out of it?
Dunno. Gonna ask Michael. Got a plan. Might not be good.
He glances over his shoulder at one of the windows, and you can see the conspicuous crack in the blinds. It's sort of like it doesn't shut.
Of the
The beak of the seagull costume. Oh my goodness.
Oh, he's on the lam. Why would he?
Cut that.
Oh,
It's like I just imagine him in Bart Simpsoning and like, I never followed football that well, but the mascot is rather taken to me. No, he sort of glances over his shoulder, and you guess he sees a nod, and he just sort of nods you back towards the front door and starts leading you up the little garden path.
It's German. It says
Sort of
the agency. The.
Just, yeah, a couple of meticulously cared for rose bushes on either side, like sort of flanking the doorway, trained up the sides there, and yeah, like he pulls off his boxing wraps and glances over his shoulder, looks down the way, and just one last moment of you came alone.
Vigorous nodding from under the hood.
Good. I mean, he sort of shrugs and gestures. Like, now that he's got the wraps off, like, there's big scars on his hands, sort of gestures over. It's like, how am I going to stop you? I mean, fucking government. Like, my vow of poverty unfortunately stops me having any relatives in the house. Wanders in. And Chippy Michael, he's not in the suit. He's in a t-shirt and a pair of like ripped cargo pants. It's like, hey guys, what's happening?
Hi, we've come to ask for your help.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
you do just information, I guess, Chippy. Michael.
It's like, look, I'm gonna fully level with you guys. Look, I am in a lot of trouble, and I went to the church for sanctuary. Pastor Crane says I was probably a lot safer here because he's only really at the church on Sunday, and it's Wednesday. It's. So I'm staying at his place, and Pastor Crane's like, he just sort of gestures at the kettle. It's like, tea, like you can take it. Starts making hot beverages for everyone.
So I think we're going to be straight up, more or less straight up with Chippy. I don't think we're going to say that we got shanghaied into like a agency office, but this gang war is not good. It would be bad if it were a gang war, but there's a secret government agency involved, so it's considerably worse than a gang war. And we want to get this sorted. They're out for blood. Is there any blood that we can give them that's not bad? That's like that. Like no one is gonna get hurt. Like, because we're assuming that the Gulls took out Agent Blake because of the rumor that for like certain, I guess, funding.
Related reasons.
Yeah. Do you know of anything that we can give them? Or like anything that can be offered to the agency to get them to step back? Because
He sort of seems to think on that for a bit and is like, look, the reason I'm currently in hiding, guys, is I'm a very high profile target, and I fully recognize that. This is not just a bunch of guys with cricket bats wailing on each other in the street, and one side has a lot more guns than the other. I'm glad they're not pointed at me. That's why, and I'm intending to keep it that way. He sort of seems to think to himself. It's like, that's the thing. If the agents if you give the agency the guys who did it, they might back off. If you can say that it's like they were, and it sort of shrugs. It's like, I'm going to admit, Dougie has been going off the trail pretty often. Probably his fault. I mean, if you can say that the orders didn't come from up top, then they might just. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to be those guys. I'm not leaving the house. It's like Pastor Crane, having prepared the tea without asking for sort of milk and sugar levels, puts chippies in front of him. Thank you.
I have a feeling that Pastor Crane knows exactly how Acheron likes their tea.
Yep. But relying on goodwill for now that the government won't just blow up a priest's house.
Yeah.
Long odds, but the only odds we've got.
Totally a
Alright,
cyberpunk
so-
dystopian future, guys. Totally.
And yeah, like you said, then he sort of shrugs, but ultimately, really, I mean, I think he does a little gesture, sort of points at his head and forward, and it's like, putting myself in the agency's shoes. I feel like people just need to be like reminded of the fact that they're untouchable. Even for guys like Cash and Carry, it's like, and they'll try anyway. But as long as it stays quiet, the agency doesn't really care because it doesn't make them look like dumbasses. So, I feel like either get Dougie, which is probably going to be like real, genuine, a wild strain feral hog loose in the henhouse kind of arrangement, or I don't know what you do. I don't think locking them into their office to embarrass them is really going to work on this one. These guys ain't city council.
All right. Madeline's going to thank him for his advice. And
sort
then
of shrugs and says, like, I'd love to help you, but I shouldn't go outside, really.
Oh no, we don't want you
I'm
to
scared
go
to leave the
outside.
basement.
We it wasn't easy to find you either. Please, don't worry.
Well, that's good. He sort of glances at Pastor Crane. It's like, that means it's working, right? It's like, yes, Michael, that means it's working.
Oh, yeah, wait, back up. I bought Chippy a burner phone.
That's good. It's like that.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea, because if you could trace it, someone else probably could.
Yeah, so I bought him a burner phone. I go, Chippy, use this. I'm taking your phone, and I'm going to drop it by your house, because it wasn't easy, but we still were able to find you, and the agency's computers are a lot better than mine.
But, Michael, have you been calling people from here? It's like, not anymore. and so for his phone to you. So maybe make some calls on the way out just to confuse them. Thank you. It's the new burner. It's like, oh, sweet, it's got Snake on it. I haven't seen one of these in years. This is great.
I like to think it's a hacked, like, home-programmed version of Snake
Yeah.
that Madeline just put on the phone because it didn't have any games, and, like, everybody loves Snake. Everyone remembers Snake. This is my favourite thing about Cyberpunk Futures, is that we have all of these references to, like, 90s technology that clearly nobody should remember.
Yep.
But it's nostalgic for the audience, damn it.
Yeah. Well, look, if Ready Player One can do it, so can we.
We do it
We'll
better.
have an actual plot.
Yeah.
Um,
Debatable, but I'll concede that it'll be more
Oh,
interesting than Ready Player One.
Wow.
We don't have plot, we just have things happen one after the other, and it's interesting. There's a difference.
that's fine too.
Um,
Cool. So Madeline is like too in love with Chippy to like leave. So she's gonna like finish her tea trying to make small talk.
I think Acheron hates small talk enough and is like, okay, I've indulged this long enough, we're going. Yeah, they're gonna nudge Madeline and be like, so we've still got that phone, we should probably, like, plant it somewhere sooner rather than later, right?
What is Madeline's like last ditch effort to make small talk? Like, what's the topic?
Oh.
Ooh. It's gonna have to be. I'm trying to think of something that's like a horrible blunder.
Yep.
Yeah, like gets flustered, goes for like a classic. Oh, I like how's the weather been thing, but Chippy's like, I've been inside for a week.
It's like, I gotta stay away from the windows.
Mood
And Ron's hand just comes down on your shoulder. Okay, we got that phone.
Oh, Jimmy!
I think on the way out the door, Acheron's gonna sort of pause, look like around their shoulder, and then be like, and then just sort of look at the pastor and be like, thanks for the clothes the other day.
Sort of, like gives you a little wave. It's like, oh, anytime. No, we have to look after each other. If we don't do that, then well, we're just just broadly, it's like we're just like them, aren't we?
Yeah. And then like trailing off, clearly about to say something else, but then walks out the door.
Yeah. You just hear it's like, good luck, take care out there.
Cool.
Yeah, he sort of, sighs deeply as he kind of locks the door after you.
Cool. So we're going to take Chippy's real phone, drop it by his house.
I see you just like dialing his grandmother or something, and just sort of throwing it into the garden bed.
Yeah, maybe we told him who we were going to call first, so he could maybe like.
I was about to say it's a terrible thing to do to Chippy's poor old grandmother. It's like kid's been missing for several, missing for a day and a bit, and there's stuff going down. Then you just.
Yep. Alright, yeah, so you dial the local pizza shop and throw it into the rose bush, yeah. Like, someone will pick it up eventually.
The local pizzeria, Tino's, because some high school kids switched around the letters on the sign years and years ago, and the name stuck, so they changed it back, but everyone knows it's Tino's.
Alright. So what do we do?
Cool.
You for now, you've given something for the agency to, we see them in their sort of VR headsets, like, so we got a ping. He's calling the pizza shop.
Like that scene in the Simpsons movie. It's the banks and banks of computers. They're like, he's calling the pizza shop.
Like, no one would order pizza if they weren't home.
Shortly after we leave, an unmarked van pulls up and SWAT team comes and kicks the front door. So, my interpretation is that Chippy... Ooh, he's gone.
Quick, try and steal the notes. Talk about all the things we're not supposed to talk about while the DM's in the room.
So, there was I went to a zoo recently. There was one animal. It was a small dog. It was a Shih Tzu.
Only a matter of time, right?
It's alright, we just made puns until you came back.
Oh, good. Yeah, sorry, I jostled the computer that time. It gets very upset when I do that.
That's alright.
But yeah.
And I think at this point, while we're deciding what to do next, Acheron has come up with their new belief.
Intriguing.
Church of Chippy.
I think that's
Chippy is God and I will destroy all heretics.
I think Acheron is sort of coming to believe that equity, well, their rebellion is equity, isn't it? Yeah. So equity is all very well and good, but in order to preserve equity, what you need to do first is look out for your own. Because that seems to be all of the people around them seem to have this one thing in common, and they're so much less of a garbage fire than Acheron is. And the one thing they have in common is that they look after other people and other people look after them. Especially people like the pastor. I think it's kind of the pastor's last comment that really cemented it for Acheron, is that part of equity and the core tenet of equity is you look after your own. Now, whether this actually translates to actual equity in the long run, would you two stop it? Is debatable, but I think that's Acheron's new belief, is that you get by looking after your own, and that's how you achieve equity.
That's fair. Yeah. Look, you can just boil that down to it's like we look after your own first, and we'll uplift the rest later. I guess it's the old what's the word? Can't do advanced mathematics when you're starving.
Yeah. Put your oxygen mask on before helping others, including children.
There you go. Yep.
I was going to say
that's the heart of it.
The starving advanced mathematics just sounds like all the tutors at the uni.
Yeah, fair point. Oh, grim. Like this isn't in character, everyone. This is a sad thing that's happening right now.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I had to break up a little family spat.
No worries.
Excellent. So,
I feel like Chippy
you have an idea.
Yes.
Go on. Yep.
Chippy would seem to prefer something symbolic be done rather than actual. I got the feeling that Chippy was like, look, it'd be hard to bring Dougie in, but he also doesn't particularly want Dougie brought in either.
I was wondering whether there's someone that we can frame. So, look, there was a big game on the weekend. It's, a bunch of the girls got carried away. We'll recruit some people to do a rap on the knuckles for the fans. And it won't happen again, officer.
But if...
That's...
We can't really rap them on the knuckles, though, can we? It'll be... No, if we're gonna if we're gonna give them someone, we'll be giving them someone for them to waterboard, right? Is kind of
Yeah, I feel like the only way you guys are going to those guys would get off easier is
Yeah.
if you made them if you handed them to weirdly another faction for public humiliation. Like maybe if you gave them to the city council or
Well, that's
something to
that's what I
punish.
was that's what I was thinking is
Yeah,
give them
yeah,
to the city authorities, not the agency.
yeah. Because the agency will probably the agency may well end with these guys in shallow graves. City council
Yeah.
are less likely to do that, but it will absolutely trash any reputation they have in town. So
Madeline feels that Chippy would prefer the statue being broken to his teammates being martyred.
water then killed.
Yeah, or even
Yep.
what's the word? Pariahed or
Hard and feathered, as it were.
Yeah.
yeah, even if it's with the city council that to have there to be
Oh,
for them
yeah.
to have to wear that.
Hmm.
Chippy would prefer the statue. So we're going to do some vandalism on behalf of the government. At least Madeline's prepared to do vandalism on behalf of the government. She tries to make this case to Ron.
Yeah. I think Ron will probably agree to that.
All right.
You know,
Cool.
no matter who we give them to, they're not going to end up in a good place. So let's just let's burn down a statue.
I think with the waterlogged pillows from the recent rains, it won't burn too well. But we'll do something.
This is a deeply strange piece of public art. I don't mind that it's your plan, but yeah. Did we want to take any sort of recovery type actions before we do our vandalism quest?
Perhaps. Maybe before we go break public property, let's reduce the tension.
Could be worthwhile, yeah.
Cool.
So which
Ease
route do we
tension.
want to go for that? Are you going to try is this smoothing feathers or are you framing somebody?
I'm gonna smooth feathers because I feel like
Yeah, if we can let's say to this, well, not necessarily in so many words, but if we could find a way to get the message to the agency that, hey, just simmer down for a couple of days, a new story's going to come out tomorrow morning that's going to smooth it all over. Just wait. Feathers will become unruffled, we promise. But obviously anonymously and without actually directly talking to anybody.
maybe
how
we
is that going to work out, I wonder?
Look, I'm just saying words until things make sense, okay?
Okay,
maybe ease
that's
tension.
fine.
We're gonna go around, do good for people. Maybe
help do some repairs for the stuff that's been smashed up in sort of
Yeah.
occasional fighting. It's
Yep. Break yeah.
You get to be the
fix. Yeah, and also
you get to be the
maybe
friendly face on that one. Yeah.
and I don't know if it's going to happen sooner or later after things have calmed down a bit, but maybe trying to find ways to lessen Cash and Carry's grip on the gulls. Maybe be we will I'm happy to service their equipment, their. So if they've got an oval, they've got some mechanical waterer thing, and they'll need something. Servers get the taps fixed to their change rooms, do maintenance that's not going to require money, so they're not so.
Yeah. That's a super interesting idea. I could sort of see it as a big long-term project, but it could also equally be the goal in a venture. If you want to try and break up that alliance, that's probably the next quest if you want to be chasing that.
Cool. All right, so I'll just go around and fix people's broken stuff.
Yeah, there was a bunch of the main sort of shopping drag got a bit trashed. Someone test. It's quite a few days later now, I think, as you all have taken a bit of time to, get some sleep and tape your wounds shut. It's like someone did get it in their head to do a drive-by, but there was no number plate on the van, so no one knows who it was. No one was hurt, luckily, but bullet holes. So Madeline's out there with the spackle, changing lives. But
Yeah.
most importantly, being seen as the one who is not wrecking shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa!
How's a
I blitzed that.
Oh, hoo, hoo.
Wow.
Critical.
I figured the action roll would have been fabricate, unless I got my terminology wrong and it's just a 1d6. But either way, I'll pick either one of them.
Yeah. Look, that works. No, look, 2 6s is critical success. So, what do you think specifically made you the town hero? Like, geez, that's something. Wowee.
Oh. Unexploded ordnance.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. Oh, wow. That'd do it.
Like, I don't know, there was like an unexploded hand grenade in like the kids' playground or something. I don't know, like.
Yeah, oh, look, I can absolutely see, like, you're doing
Found a car
repair,
bomb or something, you know, like.
and yeah, someone's left a fucking improvised explosive in at one of the scenes of the crimes. It's like, oh no.
What's that mysterious
Wow.
ticking noise?
Like none of you work with like modeling clay, do you? Okay, I'm just gonna cut these wires. Yeah. So yeah, you get free drinks for the next few weeks, and yeah, I'm just trying to I'm trying to think of other ways that people in this area express their gratitude. But wow, like it's Mrs. Black's Bakery is eternally in your debt. You got free croissants whenever you want, because otherwise luck would have been leveled.
Cool.
You just leave with these bits of dismantled bomb in the back of your car. It's like, another day.
I even go and like drop it off at Sergeant Smalls to like be like, I think this needs like proper protection,
filing.
Sergeant. Yeah. And he's like, oh.
Well, don't see one of those every day anymore.
It's like one of those guys who was like back in Nam and is just like
A little bit.
Except he was never anywhere.
Well, that's the thing. I reckon because I think you noticed it last like a session or two back. It's like he's got the fucking like he got super soldiered during the water wars, but he was a civilian police officer. So it's like, oh wow, they really were much more afraid of their own people than the enemy, weren't they? He's got some of the like creepy fucking RoboCop augmentations. But yeah. Oh.
He didn't ask for this.
Yeah, he flips a little switch and his voice goes that way.
He's got like the Adam Jensen sunglasses that just like come in from the eyebrows.
Yeah. You would not believe how hideously impractical these things are. I've got a bug stuck under one. Can't get it out.
Oh.
So yeah, massive props to Madeline there. Wow.
Cool. All right.
All right. Lee, did you have something you wanted to be working on in the interim? While your gang mate is off disposing of bombs.
I was going to I'm just thinking. I think I will do some odd jobs not to
Sure.
ease tension, but to gain favors. And yeah, the odd jobs that Acheron is going to do is probably Acheron's gonna maybe do a little digging for Abby with the unslaughtered. You know,
Sure.
a little bit of poking, a little bit of prodding, and ask a few questions, hang out with it for tea, and report back to Abby what they find out. Nothing sort of invasive or anything like that, just a combination of keeping it company and getting some information for the people who know what the heck they're talking about.
100%, yeah. Go for it.
Alright.
Stress yourself for favors.
Yes. Alright. Well, I've got a bit of stress to
Weird-
burn
weirdly
at
what
the
you-
moment.
Yeah, I know. Weirdly, what you're doing is spying on your new roommate.
A little bit. Well, Madeline's new roommate. Okay, so gonna do that with Connect, which is 1 die.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fail me now. 3. 0 to 1 favors take an equal amount of stress.
Cool.
Alright.
So I'll presume 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sort of catch the lot of you, and like it is sort of hunkered in the back of the fridge with the door open, sort of eating a sandwich, and sort of disappearing under the shroud. And every so often, the dog will come back and drop the ball, and it sort of reaches out with one of the little grabbers and sort of tosses the ball again, and it just watches the dog go and come back.
I feel like that makes sense for it to not be a very good role for that one because Abby's pretty interested in any information, but it's not like Acheron's in this thing's good books at the moment. So
yeah, like you haven't figured its true name, and frankly, it's not been that talkative lately. It seems it just seems kind of forlorn now that it doesn't have its little stronghold in its quest.
Yeah.
It just wants to go back.
Alrighty.
She just wants to go back. Cool. So yeah, Acheron has been spying.
So far, we've spied on and doxed our friends this session. We're good people.
Yeah. Yay, cyberpunk future. Ever since Facebook went down, this is the only way we know how to communicate. Nice. Cool.
All right. I think we're going to destroy a statue.
Yep.
Oh, I shouldn't have handed the explosives back.
I'm sure you could make more.
Alright. Yeah, look, I'm going to say, for 1, the statue will be protected. For 2, it's pretty solidly built. So you're gonna wanna hit it hard. What's the plan?
Definitely.
We've had a couple of nice sunny days of We can flash back to you switching that out for actual modeling play if you like.
Sergeant Small doesn't know the difference.
Quite possibly not. He's the freeloader for a reason.
Okay, so I don't think we can fight our way through a bunch of rugby players.
Or even rugby hooligans.
They're probably as tall as like 2 Madelines standing on top of each other.
A little bit. I also kind of love that we've got like this Dungeons and Dragons-esque ranking system for rugby criminals. It's like, at the top, you are captain, then player, then hooligan, then runt.
Oh.
Somewhere
off to the side is manager. That's like the wizard.
I was about to say somewhere off to the side overseeing all of them is Chippy, but
And then his mascot. No one knows what Chippy does exactly.
Bard?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. He did it, they did their war dance with the 2 mascots did their dance at the punk concert. So yeah.
All right.
We'll assume senior religious figure.
Chippy has 3 levels in cleric.
Yeah, Chippy's a multi-class bard cleric, yeah.
Jazz hands for Jesus.
Oh god.
I am so surprised that isn't a real 90s campaign from one of the churches.
It might be. I don't know.
It may well be,
If
yeah.
anyone grew up with those earworms, let us know. All right. So, what's your approach? When I say protected, it's more that it seems that the Gull's contingent of hooligans largely uses it as a place to hang out.
Okay. So they're not like patrolling it.
No, they're not patrolling it. They're just hanging out and like drinking heavily. Someone set up a barbecue.
Of course.
Yep.
It has the ubiquitous Woolies sausages and the and onions, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Onions are burnt.
They
The woolly sausages aren't cooked through.
Salmonella factory. But yeah, so they have essentially set up a fucking roustabout camp around the statue. But what do you reckon?
This sounds like something that them all being asleep right now could fix. Provided we turned off the barbecue as the first thing that we did after, like, putting them to sleep.
So are we like in like one of the buildings overlooking the courtyard, or are we sort of just hanging by the car?
Still sitting in the car down the street was what my initial thought was, but I'm happy to take...
I like that as stakeout territory in the sedan. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely like it's not the buggy.
No, it's not the buggy.
The buggy's a bit distinctive.
I'm thinking Madeline suggests DIY cop car with sirens to like scare them off.
Would that scare them off though?
Sergeant Small does seem pretty trigger happy.
True. And they do know they're in a bit of trouble, even if they're all bravado at the moment, so...
It's worth a shot.
I feel like Acheron... Sorry.
But we either have to fight them...
I was going to say, like... It's I don't like your odds for trying to engage them in direct street battle.
No.
I mean...
Yeah.
Admittedly, the fact that on average you all do have an inventory full of explosves, it's maybe not something you want to be deploying in a civilian space. The old countdown to role-playing group becomes war criminals game.
Yeah, and we probably... Madeline's worried that Acheron will kill them if they try to put them to sleep.
I was about to say, Acheron's probably turned around from the window and said, I could put them to sleep. And Madeline's like, let me come up with literally anything else.
It's like, we're not killing kids. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Why not? Why don't we? I'm gonna make a cop car.
All right.
Yeah, look, I reckon. Yeah, given your technical aptitude, making a sort of imitation siren and police lights isn't that hard. It's like you probably have that in the back of the car, enough gear to pull that together. It's like, I need to get the gels just right, otherwise it's not the right kind of red. They'll see right through it.
Cool. I think Madeline will drive back though to the factory farm shed and rig up maybe something that looks more like a police SUV or like truck or divvy van and not like a patrol car. Something that looks like it's deliberately like there.
Yeah.
And not idling past.
Yeah, look.
I'm gonna
sounds good.
Chew up with a...
I'm know.
Life is good and life is fun.
This is a good cop car.
Yeah. you just hammering them through tonight, aren't you, Beb? I love it.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, like you go. I feel like I feel like Acheron maybe expresses some doubt. It's like no, there's no way they're gonna fall for that. I mean, they just get like they haven't. These ones specifically might not even have done crimes. Like, what the hell do we even know? And you just sort of roll back out in this fucking Humvee that you had that someone had asked you to refurb, complete with like white paint and lights on the top and a fucking loud hailer.
Come out with your hands up.
They're already out in the open. How does this work? Like, don't change the sentence. But yes, it works.
I feel like, yeah, like with the critical, you probably even have not police clothes, but sort of passable looking, like, riot patrol armor.
Yeah, for late evening through a tinted window, yeah.
Yep. It's like, I got these SWAT suits, and it's like, it's not exactly a SWAT suit. It's like what motorcycle, like motorcycle armor, but it's like, if you squint.
It's like
some blue checks on it or something.
Yeah.
It's like weirdo at the Halloween fancy dress party version SWAT uniform kind of thing.
Like a dash of spray paint later. Yeah.
And like a badge, but it's actually like some like LARPing heraldry, but like in the dusk, no one's gonna tell the difference.
No one's gonna know. Oh, nice.
Cool. I'm also going with there's big car, also got like some tow cable and like a high torque gearbox.
Yep. I get the feeling I know how this is gonna go. All right, it's like your murderous chariot rumbles through the streets of McGulby as the sun is setting.
When we get within earshot of the statue, we put the sirens on and step on it just a bit to like let them know we're coming.
Yeah.
Acheron's holding onto the dashboard going, this is not going to work, this is not going to work, this is not going to work.
Yeah, the like I feel like you'd have an eye in the sky already given Madeline's bundle of tech. But it's like you just see it's like as the sirens go up, some of them leg it immediately. Like it's like, oh, I'm not sticking around for this. A couple of them sort of look at each other thinking, it's like, the hell? That's like that doesn't sound like Small's patrol car.
They turn around and there's a Humvee fucking like.
Yeah, you hammer on the floodlights and you engage the loud hailer. What's your message to these people who have yet to abandon their barbecue?
On the in the passenger seat, Acheron sitting there slightly stunned, and the shoulder squirrel goes, "Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads."
You are all under arrest for the I'm gonna have like pre-recorded and like change the voice so it's not like the voice of like a 5'2" like you are all under arrest for the attempted murder of a federal officer. He had like either in direct involvement or being party to.
Yeah, like it's I feel like you pulled it off a movie or something. Like it's a deep, gravelly kind of police protagonist voice.
There's even like some distortion on it, like applied in like the post.
Yep.
Inexplicable American accent, yeah.
Yeah. So, look, you're writing your crit here, but it's like, did you want them all to flee? Because I feel like, in honesty, some of them are going to drop their weapons with their hands on their head.
I wonder if those ones aren't dragged away.
If you want to live, run! Just stop firing blanks out the window.
Yeah, I like that. You pop the top and just sort of fire wildly. It's like, I order you to disperse.
I'm not sure.
Go on.
Maybe we do just cuff some of them.
I do kind of love the idea of you just hopping out and you shrug at each other and like put down a visor, and it's like you just cable tie him.
There's definitely cable tie. Madeline always has cable tie. Yeah, just cable tie them, like push them like down in a pile somewhere.
So you've captured a half dozen of the gull's leg breakers. One of them shouts, "I have rights! I want to see my lawyer!"
Your lawyer's not awake yet. We'll get him in the morning.
Yeah, so while they're all like tied up, or like they're all like tied and like, I reckon while they're all cable tied with their hands by their backs face down, you could even like run a rope by all their hands so they're all tied together so they can't really roll over.
Mm.
And then, yeah, pull the statue down.
Alright.
It's like, what are we gonna? We can't like actually arrest them.
Yeah, you just sort of shackle the end one to something so they can't get away.
Or if they get away, that's fine. Like,
yeah.
I guess we don't want to see.
We don't. I reckon we cut the cable ties after and.
No, you have to leave them there because if we cut the cable ties and let them go, they won't feel like. That'll be sus.
Yeah, but what's the story when we want them to run in the morning? Is it like, the statue was pulled down. This is clearly just
local badass super cops knock down statue.
Well, the thing is though that like, what's the original intent of this? Was to get them to run a story that's like riots in McGulby, linked to local football team, might expose rumors about like. That was what we were doing. We were hitting them in the getting the cash and carry people to lean on them to stop being so rowdy. If we leave a group of them cable tied, we're just going to incite more rather than calming things down. But if we let them escape, it becomes like things have escalated too far. Now cash and carry feel they have to get involved, otherwise they're gonna... That was my thinking.
Unfortunately,
I thought we were just doing, like symbolic violence.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, Operation Destroy Statue. I don't know that it was ever going to be a de-escalation. I think it was more of a giant fuck you for beating our agent.
Exactly. It's not a de-escalation, but the goal was to get cash and carry to be like, shut it the fuck down, as opposed to like, yeah, I don't know. I might have been reading this wrong, but.
An alternative presents itself is that you walk them to the city council offices and claim that they vandalized the statue.
It'll be more of a slap on the wrist than claiming they shut up the agency.
Or, like, you could literally parade the statue through the streets, like, dragging it around, too. I mean, I think, yeah, it is meant more, like, this was the alternative to mass violence, was a sort of symbolic shutdown of the club. So yeah, look, I think I think that's achieved either way. The fact that it was done by people who appeared to be police officers, isn't that far off. Because I mean, like, they would just assume they were working with Sergeant Small or the agency more broadly.
Yeah, it's a federal police. It's the red federal police that we've gone for, and not the not the state police, federal police.
Yeah, this shit's gotten hot.
Why they drove one federal police arm around to destroy a statue with pillows attached to it, I don't know.
It was seen as a revolutionary rallying point, and it had to be destroyed.
And it makes sense.
We're using that infrastructure.
The football team, and that's all that matters at this point.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so you got a bunch of them cuffed. I'm not going to make you roll to pull down the statue. You have what you need to pull down the statue.
It's made of pillows. How hard can it be?
Well, I feel like the pillows were an attachment. I feel like the middle is like steel. Like it is actually a statue that people have just been hanging things from. In sort of a weird ritual offering kind of thing. But yeah, like the steel core kind of screams, and the tires sort of squeal against the tiles, and then it collapses and sort of lurches after you. So what do you do with your hostages and their fallen banner?
I feel like you leave. Maybe we didn't tie them all together because maybe we actually want them to see it being destroyed so they can like word of mouth it.
You just left them propped against the wall.
Just made them watch. Ron's there with like hanging with like some rifle pointed at them.
Liberation Industries, we're not good people.
It's a prop gun. It's a prop gun.
Yep. No, I just love the idea.
It's fucking got the little orange tip on it.
I've taken it off.
Oh no, I just love the idea that it's like you're. Oh wow, this is the thing. It's like, yep, impersonating police to execute their symbolic art, making them watch. Yep.
Let me know if there are weird noises coming through from my end, because the cat's awfully close to the microphone and I can't hear if she accidentally smashes her face against it or something.
Yep. As an intimidating power play, that absolutely works.
Cool, yeah, so we drag it off, drag the statue off. After dragging the statue some distance, we like let the cable go and just leave it like mangled somewhere. Maybe leave it mangled in front of the stadium. Something kind of symbolic.
Yeah.
Just sort of drag it until it falls mostly apart and then dump it.
Yeah.
Like, dump it in the fountain they've got out front. That's a very Canberra thing to do.
Yeah. Excuse you.
Or just weld it into another piece of art.
That's what
chain it onto something. Yeah.
That's what Chippy does after it to resurrect the statue.
We can destroy it and then get the favor from Chippy by helping him to rebuild it.
That's some Ring of Gaiji shit right there. I just see you'll sort of drag it, you dump it in front of the stadium, you fire some blanks in the air and give it the finger, and just their manager in the sort of box, because of course they got a box facing outward for some reason. It's just sort of glowering down at you, saying, "No, this will not do. This will not do at all." As you drive off in your fucking Hummer.
Cool. Take some bizarre back streets to get it back into my property without anyone noticing this in Australian Federal Police, like paramilitary see.
I question your use of the phrase "without anyone noticing."
Camo paint.
I was gonna say, like you're sort of glancing around. You check your satellite map. It's like, shit, there's got to be a way that we can get back without anyone spotting us. And you just sort of drive past like one of the open backs of the unmarked vans. It's like, let's drive on.
Yeah, is it good enough that the agency, with the double crit, it's good enough that the agency actually think it's the real deal, right? And no one's like...
Yeah. Look, the amount that they do that is sort of off the books bullshit, I think you're in the clear for that. So I will, and I mean this would normally come like at the end of the session, but so I don't forget, I am marking a grudge for the Gulls. Given what you just did. But I feel like that...
How do they know it was us?
They'll figure something out, but it's more a matter of them being like generally pissed.
Oh, okay.
Most of the actions they do are either against the town or like helping themselves. So it's important for my sort of action economy. But Yeah, like usually that would hit later in the scene when we assess. It's like, did you really upset anyone? And it's like, yeah, dragging their fucking commemorative statue through town and dumping it in front of the headquarters. Yeah, it's petty, but it upset them.
I also just love that the clandestine, or the semi-legal government agency, this was their big plan. This is this is what they wanted.
Like you believe it was. You.
Oh, that's a good point. We had the same dream, but we're not sure.
We'll put it down to government psyops.
Oh my!
Brilliant. So I guess how do you hide the Hummer now that it's kind of a hot vehicle?
Let's repaint it.
Fair enough.
I've played Need for Speed Carbon. All you need is just to paint it another color, and you're good.
I mean, it's not like you left number plates on the damn thing. It's like,
we made just fake ones for it, and I just melt them down. And I'm sure I've got a smelter.
just into the fire. That's another day on that front, you say, in your fucking police-looking motorcycle armor hanging out in the barn where you keep the fucking Humvee.
Yeah, like repaint it, take all the weird paramilitary shit out of it and off it. And just hope I don't have the same brand of cable that we used to tear down the statue, just lying around. But no one's able to investigate it. Sergeant Small's not going to be able to piece anything together.
Yeah. It's like it was at least partially his conspiracy. I mean, anywho.
I also love that in the last season, the last mission, we were ostensibly doing something for Sergeant Small, going behind his back and dragged his son along.
This is how we roll.
It's a very small town.
We've tried to make it as hard for ourselves as possible.
To be fair, I don't get the feeling that Sergeant Small and his son are necessarily on speaking terms.
Yeah, I was going to say, not necessarily as hard for you, but the biggest fuck you to him.
Which comes back to as being hard for us when we get shot at later.
Yep, little bit. So, with that fucking... Do you want to add anything to that last little fucking major quest before we take another little break and tie off our downtime?
I think we're good.
I wish I had something else to add, but I think that's it.
Okay, cool. We'll take another 5. We'll come back, and we'll wrap up the session, I think. That was amazing. All set. And we are back, Super Team. It's Liberation Industries, Whimsy and Metaphor, Ruralpunk time. Part
Woo!
3 of 3, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Downtime shenanigans continue. As, yeah, I guess you spend the next couple of days, like, teaching the unslaughtered how to work a paint, like like a pressurized gas paint gun. Maybe. Gotta paint the damn thing.
To help us repaint the Hummer.
It's lonesome. It could use some quality time.
Oh.
Cool. So with that spectacular show of superiority against one of the local factions, good job. How do you reckon you follow that up? Like, yeah, things are still kind of tense, but yeah, message delivered loud and clear. At least you have your contact. People are starting to come back out of the woodwork. I feel like Chippy is probably still mostly sleeping in Pastor Crane's basement.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, like he's actually had time to talk to his folks now, so that's nice.
Acheron would like to recover
Mm,
because they have 2 conditions.
sweet. Mm.
And I think the way they do that is, the pain's one thing, but they're still feeling guilty about messing with Chippy. So I think they're making a point to kind of keep Chippy company and maybe even actually exchange words with Pastor Crane once in a while. Horror of horrors. But yeah, they're gonna text Chippy when they can and maybe swing by for tea a couple of times and like make sure that Chippy knows what happened and why, and Chippy knows the truth of everything. And
yeah, I kind of imagine the two of you. I don't know if Acheron's the kind of person to play video games, but like maybe in the basement there's like a ping pong table or something.
Yeah, Pastor Craig's definitely more of a ping pong than a Wiimote kind of pastor, I think. So neither Chippy nor Acheron are particularly good at it, but at least Chippy has hand-eye coordination.
Yeah. Well, especially with the way your fingers are at the moment. Yeah, hanging out with those guys is actually probably pretty good, like physical recovery as well, as the pastor is a known exercise nut. But
he's known to actually move on occasion.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he's sort of trying to rebuild things with Chippy. It's like you look, man, you're totally gonna hear the cops did this. It was us. Yeah. We did it.
But you can't tell anyone, because if people know it wasn't the AFP, we're back to square one. Dougie didn't get waterboarded.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like this is a very sad occasion and a scar on the face of our town, but also glad he's not dead. So that's nice.
And given what happened to Acheron last time they tried to decrease their conditions, they're going to spend 3 favors, and roll a dice pool of 3 because I don't want to end up with 3 conditions.
Come on.
Having said that, I know exactly what's about to happen, and that's.
I was going to say, let's see if Bepe's burned all our luck for this session. It could have been worse.
I think
that shaves one of them off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with still injured, but has patched things up with Chippy and is no longer feeling guilty about kind of being a bit of a terrible person to him. So.
So yeah, a great deal of basement ping pong and ginger beer unfolds.
Yeah.
And and yeah, like you're just sort of hanging around week to week for a little while doing that, and that works out. Yeah.
I bet you at least one of the favors went to sort of to bringing Chippy a something to do to entertain himself. I'm not sure what would What? And the question I'm trying to ask
Yeah.
here
What
is
weird gift would Acheron
what?
bring to someone who
And
wanted to fetch?
yeah, and is it like weird in a? Okay, I get where you're coming from. It's the thought that counts. I appreciate you tried, or is it a gift that it's like, well, it's weird, but fuck if they weren't onto something.
It's like, this is a fairy present that makes no sense now, but will save you later in the story.
um. Oh, I know what happened.
What is it?
Uh-oh.
So, Pastor Crane doesn't have a video game system, but but Acheron knows that Chippy now has the burner phone, so Acheron's bought Chippy a gift card for the Play Store to buy some games for it. And it's like, all the apps are free, honey. Like the good ones you don't need to pay for. You didn't, but. I mean, $20 will still buy some decent apps, but like you didn't have to.
Oh, it's like, oh, this is great. Now I can gamble online. Oh, it's gone.
But yeah, it's one of those like it's the opportunity is there. Technically, he can spend it, but like it's a totally unnecessary present given the circumstances.
Yeah. And like, given how thoroughly Madeline had to jailbreak the damn thing to get the surveillance programs off, it's like, it's nice. It's like he appreciates it. On that note, like we got a pretty good grounding of what Madeline's relationship to Chippy is, which is, at like Act 2 of 5 in a romantic comedy. It's like, I mean, you both grew up in McGulby. Who is Chippy to Acheron?
I reckon.
What old times do you chuckle about?
I reckon Chippy and Acheron were in the same class together, but very much in that like Acheron had just gotten back from their parents' weird jaunt.
Yep.
When they joined the school. Chippy was already very popular. Acheron was already very weird. But it was one of those weird things where Chippy couldn't necessarily be friends with Acheron because nobody was friends with Acheron. Like, why would you be friends with Acheron? But at the same time, Chippy kind of looked out for them a bit because Chippy's a good person down at heart and knows that, like, there's something going on there and, wanted to at least make sure that Acheron wasn't hideously bullied throughout their school career. So Acheron's always, like, respected Chippy a little bit for, like, well, I've heard stories, you could have been a lot more things than you were. So they've got this kind of weird, as the ping pong games as the ping pong games progress, you've got this weird sort of camaraderie forming of, do you remember when such and such did that? Oh, yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, no, I was involved in that. And Acheron's like, oh, I didn't know anything about that. Chippy's like, yeah, here's all the gossips that went down.
It's like, you would not believe how much I beat him up after that. It was kind of hilarious.
And there's like things that
they both... with a limp.
Yeah, and there's things that they both remember, but they like had very different perspectives. They're kind of discovering how like their different perspectives on things were.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, you've got a bit of the old. Yeah, like you get a bit of that reminiscence, kind of like, oh wow, like we really did live through a lot of crap together, even if we weren't thinking much about it at the time.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. I'm going to take a downtime action. Because I can. Because I have so many grudges to play with, and they've just reinvigorated. So yay. I'm going to like we have the. I feel like we get a little cutscene in the woods of Middle Maggie just with did I call them I'll get my notes because their names are actually really bad X-Files jokes. It's like, it's Muller and Scully, the two Institute scientists. Uh, it's like sitting around a campfire, and she's telling a story, and it's like, and it worked out all right in the end. I mean, we had to cut his legs off because they were right stuck in the ice, and the ice wasn't moving. I mean, it was really a matter of bone saw or have them broken off by the ice at that point. So, I mean, really, I am nature. But I think the point of it all, coming back around it, and she sort of glances over her shoulder as there's a rustling, and it's like, and Scarly just sort of rises to her feet. It's like, I know exactly what that is, and Maggie's like, it is not a Sasquatch. They are not native to this region. How many times do I have to? And like this pair of sort of glittering eyes sort of breaks the tree line, and like a sort of blue 3-fingered hand kind of grips the branch, and you've got this creature sort of like bathed in shadow, and it sees Maggie and sort of waves, and she's like, "Hi." So I'm going to jump into the chat room, and I'm going to roll a couple of dice because she is continuing to assist the Institute. Because I want to give them a fighting chance against them being just wiped off the board while they're still a tier 1 faction. We'll see how that goes. It helps a little. And it lets me move those down a bit. What can I say? I've taken pity on one of our faction. So yeah, like they're stuck out in the woods, and they start chatting with what we might know at the meta level is one of the Billion's emissaries. But for now, we'll just call them Toad. Very good. Meanwhile, back in town, Madeline, where did you want to roll with this? You got things you can do. Another downtime action in hand and a whole stack of favors.
I do have another downtime action. Madeline is going to... So Madeline is still pretty shaken by the amorphous water goat poisoning thing.
Yeah, Project Selkie, yeah.
So Madeline is going to start a long-term project with the aim of understanding how well contained it is, because she feels like this is still a threat that's very much present.
Mm-hmm.
And so wants to research, maybe wants to try to find out to like how involved, like, I guess whether it occurred, whether it like was found and was being studied, or whether it was created, and a possible like longer term containment strategy.
I was going to say the question of was that the only one?
That's a good one too.
Look, I'm basically, unless I need a consequence in that regard, I mean, I'm not going to breach the container you made because like you worked hard to do that, and yeah, you made a good container. We can assume that the people who asked you to do that are checking in on it occasionally. But yeah, like if you wanted to know where the hell that thing came from and if there are more of them, that sounds like a really interesting research project.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'd call that probably a 4 o'clock.
Cool. All right.
Hmm. So how do you
So,
want to be attacking that?
from memory, Madeline got a whole lot of documents from it.
Yeah, you were able to boot up the computers long enough to sort of strip some of the hard drives, yeah.
Yeah, so she's going to be pouring through that to try and find leads.
Excellent. Sounds like a plan.
I'll hit it with an analyze.
Nice.
Nope. That's a 2.
Well, you still get 1 pip on your
Oh,
clock.
it still does something. Oh,
Yeah.
This is nice. This is a nice one.
Yeah, like the research still helps, even if it's like a really bad day in the library.
Cool. I don't die or something. Awesome.
Yeah, like in this case, it's just very slow going. So yeah, you just and I'll plug this in, and surely I'll find the data. Holy crap! That's they really did take a lot of notes, didn't they? 80% of this appears to be schedules.
Excel
Alright.
spreadsheets with approximately 6 formula
Yeah.
errors per sheet.
And just no key as to
Name?
what different columns mean. Yeah.
Yeah, some macro that won't run on my computer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, files that don't make a lot of sense. Really awesome vintage version of Snake. What do you do with a government supercomputer? Nice. I love it. That's cool. I am going to take another action because of the people you've upset. Alright, I think we get a little cutaway of, on the outskirts of town. The farmers in pajamas now wearing day clothes are on the doorstep, talking to Sergeant Small, pointing at the wreck that was their big shed that has been dragged most of the way down the way, and he goes to the metal, he sort of kicks it, sort of goes to the road, and his eyes do a little focus thing, and it's we get his eye view of the little reticule sort of scanning the ground.
Nice. It's a Robocop.
Yeah, tie a match, and it's for fuck's sake. So he is going to roll his 3 dice of grumpiness
Uh-oh.
to try and hit you all with another entanglement, because they can do that. And you've really worked, you really did work hard to upset him this session. So he stays upset. And Lee, would you like to roll this entanglement for us?
Oh, Christ.
Alright.
So luckily the
1d6
tension
or...
2d6. The tension is now a lot lower.
5 and 4.
Nice. Thanks to Madeline.
Do both of those happen, by the way? Is
Just
that
the
2
one.
things? Oh, okay, so
the higher one, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alright. Downward spiral, you say? Mm-hmm. Wow. I feel alright, downward spiral. Sergeant Small, you know this contact is a bad influence on you.
Yep.
We got a pretty clear idea of how they lead astray, but why are you two so attached to them?
He did threaten to shoot me. I
Yeah.
kind of have to do what he says.
I was gonna say, but why? You two are counted amongst probably the most dangerous individuals in the community, outside of the main faction.
I mean, he is Robocop.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is he's a freeloading douche, but also as the only police officer, he does have considerable power and can make our lives absolute hell. So we have to toe some kind of line with him. because I guess the other thing is like we're not generally well liked enough to be like, hey, help us, even though the police officer wants us in jail. You know, there'll be a lot of people who would be like, look, you two have, you know, even the people who kind of like us would be like, look, you guys have really stepped in it.
Yeah. You
No, they
knew
wouldn't
what he
be.
was like.
Yeah, I don't feel like there would be a lot of people risking death by RoboCop for us.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I'm kind of interested to see how this goes because there is, because of the nature of our original bond, Acheron. I can see that Acheron might feel some sort of weird, not attachment, not actual but obligation, because Sergeant Small has taught them a lot of things and has misguided and ham-fisted as it is, did genuinely attempt to take Acheron under his wings. So there's this weird sort of tension between, I never wanted this, I never wanted you to be this person for me, your advice is terrible, and you shoot people, probably. I hope not. Maybe you do. Oh God. And also,
you've never confirmed that he's ever shot anyone.
Yeah. And
since
also,
he got here.
Yeah, and also that weird, but should I feel more obligation than I do? Because there were all of these things that, I didn't want them and they were useless, but he did go out of his way. And, where do I reconcile these two, conflicting opinions of this person, kind of?
Yep. That's an interesting thing, yeah. Cool. So, now, once again at a meta level. Okay. Yeah. All right. So he sort of gets back to his office. You know, we see him sort of clean up in the. He removes the lenses. We see him clean up in the bathroom mirror. His eyes sort of refocus, and he's like, okay, all right, just okay. Taps his head. The sleeves are rolled down to show the weird circuitry patterning on his forearm. It's like, okay, this is fine. Okay, easy. Just go and do it. Okay. But we see, as he's sort of talking to himself, over his shoulder, there's a sort of silhouette, sort of hovering, vibrating, a sort of figure, buzzing away in the background. If you'll excuse me a moment, I don't think anyone else is going to get that doorbell.
Okay. Live, everybody.
We're in the clear. All is well. All right. We sort of see a silhouette buzzing away in the background, and as he turns around, he appears not to notice it. We see him driving the car, and glances up in the rearview mirror, sort of looks back down, and in the back seat there are two of these sort of figures. It's sort of vibrating in an alarming darkness, stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows up. Where is somewhere that he'd show up at Madeline's. For what reason is Ron kicking around at the moment?
Hanging out with the unslaughtered.
Makes sense, yeah. Sergeant Small, he just walks up the driveway and knocks on the door.
Cool.
Quickly close door to the...
He's going to be waiting there a while because, it's a fairly big lot of land with, several buildings. So he's, he's probably rung the doorbell, no one's answered, and it's, going for a wander to see which of, the sheds we're at.
Which buildings we're in,
Yeah. Being accosted by dogs along the way.
Yeah, we hear the dogs, and then we're like, oh god, put Cyber Sheep back in the fridge.
Yeah.
What a genre.
Cyber Sheep in the fridge, and then probably with this amount of conspicuousness, what seems to be the problem, officer?
Where is it, Madeline?
So Madeline's going to try and lie. This is going to be a 2d6. Take the lowest.
Mm.
Where's what is going to be the
That's a start. Yeah. Let's see how much you trip over those words.
Hey.
a lot.
Great
no,
deal.
just take the lowest, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So,
Somehow I let him. Somehow I like. Is it a sheep or a cow? Sorry,
it's cow-like. Yeah,
Cow-like.
small. But yeah, probably about sheep size is not a bad point of reference. But yeah.
Yeah, I somehow make some kind of like blunder and let him know that there's a weird livestock on the property.
Yeah, like you sort of stammer around it, and it's like he sort of holds up his hand. It's like, no, look, it's
Shut up.
not details, but like trail of magnetism leading to your house. Kind of hard to miss, kid. Like, what are we dealing with here? Seriously, this is not. And he's sort of rambling about how this is not something for you. We need specialists. We need animal control on this shit. And you see a couple of these silhouettes sort of lurking around the fence line, and like Acheron, hearing the voice of the shoulder squirrel saying, "Every breath you take." You sort of glance up on top of the barn, and you see another one of these hunched sort of simian almost kind of figures. And like the flickering shadow kind of breaks to reveal a sort of point of light, an eye focused distinctly on Sergeant Small.
Okay.
It does not take a genius to know that, like, the upset members of the Billions are maybe watching very closely as to what he is intending to do next.
Yeah.
You have a couple of options. You can hide him, or you can try and pay them off if you've got a couple of favors handy. Yeah, it's like this. You can't deal with this stuff on your own. Like you need a lab. I know you're smart, kid, but this is not a lab.
I wait for a break and go, Sergeant, did they come with you? And point to the.
Yeah. Can Madeline see that? Oh yeah, Madeline's also got some.
Madeline
yes.
spotted them and he's like.
Yeah.
He sort of glances up and back at you and is like, don't try and pull that shit. Be honest with me. Come on. Acheron at least would notice that, yeah, these sorts of things, broad daylight, he should have been perception filter.
Yeah.
Using psychic fuckery.
Alright, Acheron's going to make a very ill-advised attempt to salvage what little credibility they have with, or not scrape together what little credibility they have with Sergeant Small left, and sort of, and what lab, Sarge? The institute's full of, whoever they can hire. The agency's going downhill fast, it's an attempt to run the sort of line of, who do you suggest to take care of this? I'm gonna roll a contact, which is 1d6.
Yeah, I'm not worried about your argument at the moment. Once again, the shoulder squirrel continues to sing the police.
Yeah.
As a sort of almost scorpion tail postured silhouette begins to sort of loom out of the ground, out of Sergeant Small's shadow, and he straight up sort of shakes his hand. It's like, I don't care about the facility. These things aren't pets, guys. These animals are dangerous. And we see the sort of shrouded, beaky creature kind of looming over behind him.
Yeah. Acheron probably does the sort of retreat back in. It's not that they're afraid of Sergeant Small necessarily. Like, these creatures are sincerely weird. And they're just very wigged out at the moment. So gonna retreat back a little bit. This having not worked with the like grew up in the wilds, you know.
Yeah. So as his next phrase sort of tails off and like right up to Dangerous, it's like the sort of record scratch and freeze camera, and the sort of baleful eyes of the beaky scorpion looking one. It's like you hear the police cease, and it's like, "This one yours?"
Ooh. So, just clarifying, this is the scorpion now talking to Acheron.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure that I didn't have that wrong.
It's talking through the squirrel.
Through the squirrel.
Yeah, doesn't have a mouth.
Yeah. Which one? This guy or like me?
It's like,
yeah. I'm gonna at least need like. Sorry, yeah, I genuinely am not sure which one went. So, is he asking if the policeman is with Acker? Okay, cool.
It is projecting the sense of a territorial. What's the word? A question of domain.
Yeah.
Like, can I carry this thing off? Would you is it under your protection?
Oof.
Because and recognizing Acheron as the only one that really speaks its language.
Yeah. For a given value, he speaks.
We can't really.
I'm sort of imagining Acheron like there's has just been talking to Sergeant Small and has turned very slightly to Sergeant Small's left and is now carrying on a conversation with nothing. The town wishes this were a weirder occurrence for Acheron.
Yeah, don't worry, it's psychic. There's a bit of time lag. Don't worry. Yeah.
I mean, part of the town, right? He's one of the town.
It makes a kind of low screeching sound. It's threat to us, dangerous.
Yeah.
Does it belong to you?
It.
So once again, your
options.
Your options in this scenario are whether you want to hide him, protect him yourself, or to give them something they want. In that's favors. If you've got two favors, you can make them go away. But
I've only got the one favor at the moment. Is the thing.
I'm throwing that one out to the table.
Okay, so we can combine.
You can work together. Yeah,
cool.
It's a team one.
Acheron's gonna nudge Madeline like, Mads, can I owe you one, please?
Yeah.
Cool. Back to the psychic conversation.
Yeah. Madeline, you can see these things, but you don't the sounds that they're making are like someone sort of hammering scrap with a wrench. Mm-hmm. Like their voices.
I'm looking totally freaked out.
Yeah.
Ron is carrying on a conversation to a vacant space to the left of Sergeant Small. Is he thinking that there is actually something dangerous happening at this point?
He's worried about the unslaughtered. And so he sort of glances over his shoulder again. It's like, look, oldest trick in the book. That's not going to work as this fucking winged freaky demon sort of looms around him. Yeah. It's like you can Madeline can see it. It's just its voice doesn't make sense to her.
Yeah. And so he obviously can't hear it either.
He's tuned it out. Yeah.
I'll give you a bargain for him, okay? We can all leave with something we want.
Understood. What tribute do you have? And it practically looms down in front of his face as if to hammer home the point. Bird-like sort of.
I'm seeing
the one eye in front of his head, glowering at you.
I'm almost seeing Ko the Face Stealer from Avatar: The Last Airbender, like snaking around to like.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen the show, but yeah, like for those playing
For
at
the
home,
viewers-
that's what it's like.
For the viewers, I'm basically just like weird, like twisty snake beast looming over things. Shit, what do I have to offer?
What would you try and bribe these creatures
Yeah,
with?
that's what I'm trying to think of.
Well, look, you're our wild soul, so
Yeah.
you know better than anyone. As a sort of quick and dirty, like they obviously work as vanguard for the billions. These sort of shadowy creatures often operate as spies and assassins because they're only like half material and have some tricks to do with perception.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
A mirror.
Oh.
No, the curse. Think of how gnarly your hair would look. None of us have hair. We are creatures of living darkness.
But you could.
All right, Acheron's going to offer. Acheron's going to offer the institute. Okay. So I know there's another group near the town, but they're not part of it. They're not under my protection. And they go out into the wild sometimes, and they investigate and they research. Next time they go out, me and my friend are going to go out, and we're going to stop them finding out whatever it is that they want to know. In exchange, you can keep watch if you like, but you can't take this man away.
Like, and they're like the sort of little simian ones potted down, and like the whole scene appears to have like the light sucked out of it. Yeah. As they're all sort of standing around like a fucking Last Supper picture, sort of like a panoply around Sergeant Small, just all sort of looking at you with their baleful, burning eyes. And it's like the big beaky one says, sufficient. And then with this strange sort of slurp, you'll blink and they're gone. Yeah. And it's like, he sort of shrugs and says, it's like, well, look, I appreciate how you had my be careful, all right? And sort of kicks a can on the way out and wanders off down the hill.
Acheron's gonna sort of just hand on Madeline's shoulder and be like, "We gotta go fuck with the Institute."
So we can say that those favors represent intel, I guess, on the Institute's movement. You sort of sell to them.
Sounds good, yeah. So that I know, so that I then know where they're going to be, so that I can carry out this plan. Cool, that works.
Yep. So yeah, you give the billions the favors and like, ooh, sweet.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't get any scientists killed there. Who knows? It's like, because they've currently the billions have one goal: it's to wipe the Institute off the map. They don't like people rootling around in their business. But yeah, cool. With that sunny afternoon down, the dogs all sort of come out from under the house, and the unslaughtered is just sort of looking forlornly out across the yard, and with sort of swats at some flies buzzing around its head. What do you do?
Are we able to find out if it wants, like, where it would like to be? Because we could probably rig up some kind of way to get it to Abby's if it would prefer to be there.
It sort of shrugs, it sort of shrugs sadly, and you get, through the medium of the squirrel, perhaps. Actually, no, it's probably rumbled a sort of basic amount of speech, but it's like, it just says like, I miss the herd. I miss the children. They're not happy, not safe with their kin. I want to look after them. They need me.
So let's invite the kids over.
Sort of nods slowly.
And like,
Set up a meeting place, maybe.
And it's like you have plenty of space here. They would be happy. Clearly not getting the idea that this is not forever.
Mm.
okay, I'm definitely going to try and get that across.
Okay, but
I don't
what if
wanna-
though? What if though?
Yeah.
What if Madeline were to set up a weekend metalworking class, and the kids from the herd could go around to Madeline's ostensibly to screw around in the workshop with someone who's done their qualification in soldering or whatever it is, and they could come visit on the weekends.
I like it. We just need to be able to convince the unslaughtered that their
Can
children
go
will
home.
leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Work in progress, but maybe that could be a project for the next couple of sessions.
It's an idea, yeah. It's like communicating the idea of the 7-day week for this creature is tricky.
Yeah. But I reckon we could probably, given it, I'm just looking at the time.
Yeah.
We might end that scene with sort of the Madeline and Acheron looking at each other like, all right, we can see what we can do, and then like panning back from the big scrap yard, and a dog chases a ball across as the camera pans back.
Yep. Nice. Well, what a session. Yep. You did a lot. You got a new roommate. You knocked down a statue. You upset the local football club.
And that's our downtime.
Yeah, this is a downtime session. Like, still plenty of adventures. Anyone who thinks that downtime in Blades is boring, don't get on that. There's some serious shenanigans going on here. I think yeah, you do sort of need to give it the extra time to get it to sing. But yeah, I guess look, we can do that XP round end session if you fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's probably a little kicking around. It's usually not so much roll with your horrible conditions as I did things with the things. So
yeah.
Lee, would you like to lead us in this round?
Okay, so I did not roll with any conditions.
Yeah, it's sometimes usually more chilled in that regard.
Yeah. Did I address a challenge with knowledge or valor? Not totally sure I did this time.
I was going to say, like, you got to work on your heroism, Lee.
I had a very specific image when I built Acheron, and then within 30 seconds of the first session, they were not that image anymore. So I think
maybe you can grow into it.
Maybe I can grow into the valor. I think they're probably heading there. What with their new protect our own kind of drive. But anyway, did I attempt to explore the mysteries of the wild? Yes, I held interviews with the unslaughtered on behalf of Abby.
Yeah, correct.
So,
yeah,
take that one. And I looked after Sergeant Small, who is technically one of my own. Even though I could have easily let the things take him and keep the unslaughtered safe instead, which was what was also going through my head at the time. So we'll say...
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, should we just let him eat him? It's like...
Yeah, it's...
like the grudges would still be in play on a meta level, but presumably by the agency who are after you from there. But,
exactly. But,
unfortunately, if one of your contacts is removed, it's really hard to make a new one, and you need them down the line.
Yes, that's the meta. In character, I feel it was totally going through Acheron's head that who's more my people, the sergeant or the unslaughtered. But yes, so I'm 2 XP for me.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, would you like to roll in with that?
Yes, I believe that I addressed the challenge with technical skill or invention. 2, actually. I reckon technical skill, I stalked Chippy using technology.
You did, yeah. You traced his phone and then gave him a backup phone, yeah.
And then I built an AFP Hummer.
You did, yes. Spectacular enthusiasm, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I surpassed the technological limits of anything. Like, nothing really, like, borderline magical happened.
No,
But
not this time, but yeah.
not this time. But technical skill and invention, I'll,
Yeah, take the 2 there, yeah.
Cool. Oh no, Numlock's not on.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. Nice.
Brilliant. And yeah, I think that's most of your lattice there. Cool. Now, the last thing I got to do, because I feel like it has probably come into play, is we need to maybe notch the sell-out meter. You've lucked out on the fact that I don't think you necessarily... Like I said, you didn't really hurt, because the tag is vulnerable person. And the Gulls hooligans are actually considered on a level of danger roughly equivalent to you. So I think maybe you got away with that. But I feel like you maybe get a dot against Anarchy because of that time you spent impersonating police officers and tying people up. Even if it was to do an act
I was about to
of
say,
mass vandalism.
At what point does the chaos caused outweigh the fact that we were pretending to be police officers when we did it?
It'd need to be a lot of chaos, and yeah, I mean, the fact you did it at the request of admittedly wildly misled government employees, but nonetheless. So yeah, like you were teetering. Yeah, and I don't think we really made up for that this round.
Because it was chaos, but it was
chaos in service of
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's not.
So I'm gonna drop you a long one, but so you're teetering on the edge of that first break point. So next session, be really good anarchists, is what I'm saying.
Good luck, us.
Do we need to start arguing over interpretations of the literature as well, and then like gatekeeping people based on which Russian they haven't read?
I worry that's sort of enforcing the problem. But yeah, look, I think I look, depending on your own like the in-game interpretation of anarchy is essentially like are you dismantling power structures? Are you enforcing power structures? Are you investing in individuals? Like the positive is, did you invest in an individual or a community to help them against these power structures? So it is actually a really simple answer. Good luck. Like not like real world anarchy. It's like brothers and sisters are natural enemies, like anarchists and communists. Anarchists and other anarchists.
There is so in Northgate on St. George's Road, just as you enter Northgate from like the south through like North Fitzroy, there are these bunches of apartments, like big apartment complexes, and smack bang in the middle of them is this anarchist like bookshop that's refused to sell, and so
it built around it.
Yeah, it's like two like 10-story things on either side with this tiny anarchist bookshop in the middle.
No,
it's too good. It's like they stuck it to them. I also love it as well because by not selling, they would have been like 10 apartments or something that they could have built in that whole like vertical and back space. It would have cost them millions of dollars to like not been able to buy that property. Like, that's so good.
Yep, that's the kind of spirit we need. It's like, I guess you could do a thing, or I could do this very simple action to destroy it. It's like turns out the action, your high and mighty actions are actually incredibly fragile. But no, that was a super wild session, and yeah, like I had a good time. That was wild.
That was excellent.
Not sure how many downtime sessions involve impersonating the federal police.
To vandalize a statue covered in pillows.
Oh, he's gone. I forgot it was covered in pillows.
It happens. I think it happens about every hour and a half.
It's on a timer.
I remember, maybe if I just try logging off during the breaks and jumping back, it won't freak out. But yeah, wild 4A downtime session. Like, you know, like, how often do you impersonate the police to destroy local architecture?
Not often enough.
Yeah. It has that kind of American Graffiti-esque kind of shenanigans level too, I think, which I think is actually quite appropriate for Ruralpunk. Like the sense, like, why are you going to do this thing? It's like, well, it's not the most effective thing we could do. Craziest idea.
It's like, yeah, does it involve not having to, like, kill someone or rough up, like teens?
Or above all, deliver a clean and clear statement that you don't actually believe. That's where things get real tricky.
We're flexible on that one.
A little bit, yeah. Like that's the fiddly stuff. We'll figure it out.
Oh.
Kitty break.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think that went rather well.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do the sign off. We can have a little debrief if we like. This has been Liberation Industries in collaboration once again with Whimsy and Metaphor, testing out, playing the playtest edition of Cascade's Ruralpunk, which you can find at ruralpunk.net. I am Patty. I usually live at liberationindustries.net. All the various connected Twitter accounts are all on there. .net. Somebody already got the .com. Thanks, Dessa. If either of you have a plug to do, now is your chance.
I'm Lee Cope. You can find me at whimsyandmetaphor.com or the associated Twitter account. I have books. You should read them. Some of them are free. Some of them are not.
Get them all.
Watch this space.
Super keen for that, bud. But, yeah, with that, have a wonderful night. Get out there, knock down a statue that offends you. I'm sure you've got your reasons.
We do not condone impersonating police officers.
Yeah. Oh, no. We can't actually agree to that in real life. No, this is fantasy, everyone.
Although...